Husband risked his life to save mine 2 years ago. How can I ever repay him? So it was Friday date night. My husband and I were walking back to the car at 11 p.m. from an extremely crowded restaurant. He realized he had left his expensive leather jacket at the restaurant, so he told me to just walk to the car and he'll catch up. So I did. Suddenly a black car came speeding by, way past the speed limit. I screamed since I thought the car would hit me. I landed with a thud, and right above my husband who lay motionless on the asphalt. Once I realized what had happened, I shook my husband over and over again, to no avail. I screamed and cried hysterically, "Somebody help me," and thankfully people came to help. One man gave me his phone to call the ambulance. Both mine and my husband's were dead from the impact. I just kept shaking and crying. I must have been a pain in the ass, while another woman just hugged and comforted me. The ambulance arrived quickly and took both of us to the hospital. The doctors told me he wasn't dead, but he's in a coma due to traumatic head injury. My heart sank when they told me this, and that week was the worst, most miserable week of my life. I couldn't eat, sleep, or think straight without feeling like taking my life. Luckily, after a week, he woke up. The doctors called me in to see him, and told me he'd have some minor memory loss but nothing to worry about. He is quite forgetful nowadays. I was speechless for a few seconds, and then I hugged him as tight as possible while bawling into his chest. I wouldn't let him go and I held him and cried and told him how sorry I was for a good 40 minutes. He consoled me and told me that none of this was my fault, but I still think it was. I love my husband so much. I really don't know how to repay him for literally saving my life. Whenever I think about it, I tear up. How can I ever make it up to him? I owe him my life. I've done a few things to try and be the best wife I can be. I cook him his favorite meals. I take him out on date nights and insist on paying for his meals. I try to do as many chores as I can, unless he insists on doing them. I try to give him tons of affection. I give him hugs and kisses and I love yous, and I tell him he's my hero pretty much every day. In the bedroom, he's an extremely selfless lover, which I do want to change, since I want to be able to please him too. Recently I've been putting him to sleep with gawk gawk whenever he feels too tired to have intimacy, and I try to give them to him every day, multiple times a day if possible. His 33rd birthday was yesterday, so I made him a purely handmade card with a pop-up elephant when you open it. His favorite animal is elephants, and written on it were 33 reasons I love my husband. And I took him to the Griffith Observatory, his favorite place, but I feel like I'm not doing enough for him. Like affection, intimacy, activities and date nights are a normal part of any marriage. I want to be a better wife for him. I know marriages are not transactional, but I still want to repay him for literally saving my life. Whenever I ask him, he laughs and says, "You don't have to repay me, but I want to." How can I ever repay him?